In this video, I'm going to share information with you that RV dealerships and RV manufacturers really don't want me to talk about. But from my perspective, the juice is worth the squeeze. Welcome to HBRV Lifestyle. They call me the Honey Badger because I give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business. And today is your November 2024 RV industry update. Now, please forgive me. I'm congested. I haven't been feeling good the last couple days. That's why I didn't do this on November 1st like I normally do. Normally when I do these, I do these at the first of the month. Today is the first day I felt kind of half normal. So you're gonna have to forgive my voice, forgive my congestion, bear with me, okay? Now I'm at the beach. Here, I'm gonna turn around. There's a lot of awesome waves going on. A lot of fresh air, that's the reason why I'm out here. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to give you my 5 predictions for 2025. And these predictions are very solid based on fact. And RV manufacturers, and we're going to even say some RV corporate RV dealership YouTubers are going to hate me too. Or they're going to try to tell me I'm full of crap or I'm just smoking something, whatever. And by the way, this is before the presidential elections decided. So that means no matter who the president of the United States is, these predictions are still my predictions. Doesn't matter if it's Trump or Harris. And we're gonna start with number 1. Number 1 is interest rates will not go down significantly in 2025. Now remember, folks, last November, what did I say? I said interest rates were not gonna go down dramatically at all. If they went down, they would go down a little bit. Remember I said that? Who was right? The Badger was right. When everybody said, oh, you're full of crap, they're gonna drop rates significantly before summer. Wait, that didn't happen, right? Now, I do think they will come down, but I don't think it's gonna be dramatic. And here's the reason why, folks. Let's say Trump or Harris gets elected and they go to the Fed and go, hey, you guys need to cut interest rates in half this year. The Fed's going to look at them like they're crazy. Because if you cut interest rates down to, let's say, the Fed rate being at 2%, let's say they cut it in half tomorrow. First off, home prices are going to go through the roof. Auto prices are going to go through the roof. RV dealers are going to raise their prices real quick. Private party sellers are going to raise their prices really quick. Inflation will go insane. It'll run rampant. It has to be a balance. So we screwed this economy up ourselves. Nobody else did it for us. We didn't have to go out and buy all this stuff. We didn't have to go remodel our kitchen. We didn't have to spend $100,000 over asking price on a house. We didn't have to go and buy a brand new truck for $25,000 over sticker. We didn't have to do any of that stuff. We could have stayed home, been happy with what we have, and waited it out. But we didn't. So, we can blame the politicians all we want. But if you want somebody to blame for all the inflation, all we have to do as a world is just go into the bathroom, look in the mirror, and you're part of the problem. The person you're looking at. Okay? Now, so in order for them to fix it, it has to be a gradual thing. There has to be a balance. Unemployment has to go up, right? So unemployment's not high enough yet. We have to get to the point where people stop spending money. They're still spending money. The GDP's grown because people keep putting things on credit cards. We're at the highest credit card debt the United States has ever seen. We're also at the highest credit card debt per capita, per person in the United States that's ever been. Credit card debt is the next bubble, right? But that's for another video. So the reality is they're not going to cut interest rates dramatically until unemployment goes through the roof and until people stop spending money, okay? Which means you have to stop buying RVs. You have to stop buying cars. You have to stop buying homes. When everything freezes and you only buy the basics, then that brings prices down. Demand, supply, demand, etc. okay? That brings me to prediction number 2. Prediction number 2 is, I think it will be the largest used market in the history of the United States next year. And that's not just RVs. That's cars, that's boats. I believe that if you own a secondhand store or a used lot of any kind, next year you are going to make so much money. I think places like the Goodwill, I think places like thrift stores, used car lots, used RV lots, used boat lots are gonna make a pile of money next year. And here's the reason why. The reason why is we're starting to see a lot of stuff be donated. We see a lot of stuff going into auction. We see a lot of stuff going into secondhand stores, secondhand vendors, TVs, couches. You're starting to see large amounts of recreational vehicles, not just motorhomes and trailers, but we're talking about power sports stuff. This stuff is starting to grow dramatically at a fast pace inside the auctions. The repossession rate has grown, and it's not talked about. It's not talked about at all. The repossession rate, and it's voluntary. We're seeing, like last week, I was talking to a person who's actually works at an auction. They said it's the largest voluntary repossession that she's ever seen. And we're not just talking about boats and motorhomes. We're talking about trucks. We're talking about cars. And what's happening is these guys are trying to get as much money for them as possible. So they're running through the auction at these high prices, and none of the dealers are bidding. Imagine that. Unless it's priced right, they're not buying it. So they're being smarter. And so what's going to happen is they're strictly going to wait until these prices drop, and these banks are going to lose so much money because, hey, let's face it, they didn't have to give the money out either. They didn't have to lend the money, when somebody's buying something 20 grand over sticker. So it's the bank's fault too. It's not just our fault. So it's the bank's faults too, right? So the default rate and the repossession rate are going to go through the roof, right? So if you're a used dealership, you're going to make some good money. That brings me to prediction number 3. Prediction number 3 is we will have one major manufacturer go out of business next year. Okay? I would predict, I'm not going to guess which one, but I'm not talking about the little independents. I'm talking about one of the big majors. I'm talking about, and in Forest River's case and in Thor's case, it'll be a division of one of them, okay? For example, this doesn't mean this is my prediction, but just an example. Thor owns Heartland. Heartland may go out of business, as an example, okay? Winnebago, even though they won't, it's still an example. Winnebago owns Grand Design RV. Grand Design RV could go out of business, okay? Even though they won't. At least I don't think they will, okay? But the reality is that one of those companies, one of those big brand companies, will go out of business in 2025. They will fold up shop and close the doors, okay? Now, the reason why I say that is because you're starting to see less and less dealerships. Guys, folks, we are talking about one of the largest closures in the industry history. This is getting to the point where it's 08, 09 again. There are tons of dealers that are closing their doors. There are tons of businesses in the RV industry that are shutting up shop or selling to a big corporation. There's a couple of large corporate dealers that are planning, from what I'm being told, at closing large amounts of stores. So the fewer the dealerships, the fewer products we need in the industry. So at least one of these guys is going to run out of dealers, run out of cash, run out of manufacturing, and close their doors. That's how it happened to 0809. Beyond other reasons, you couldn't keep selling inventory to dealers because you didn't have a dealer network. The other reason why this is a great prediction is because a lot of the dealerships across the United States and Canada that are somewhat healthy have decided to pull back how many brands they're carrying, okay? So, like for example, there's some dealers out there that have talked to me about dumping Grand Design because of all the frame problems, okay? Hey, I understand that. There's some dealers that are sick and tired of Thor products that are gonna dump Keystone, okay? So reality is these dealerships that are semi-healthy to healthy are starting to go, do we really need 3 fifth wheel brands? No. Do we really need 5 travel trailer brands? No. So what are they doing? They're starting to process of elimination. Okay. Now, does that mean there won't be a comeback? Yes, because that's prediction number 4. I think the beginning of a comeback for the industry happens at the end of next year. And that comeback is, I believe a lot of these guys that sold their dealerships in 2020, 2021, 2022, their non-compete clauses are just about up. And I've spoken to some of them. And some of them are like really anxious and excited to get back in the industry and get back and start another company. Some of them are like, nah, screw it, I'm retired. But they would be an angel investor into a new dealership. So the reality is that I think the beginning of the comeback starts around October of 2025. I think we'll see some new dealerships, some new blood in the industry come in. I think we'll get some more independence. From what I understand, there's some foreign investors right now looking for consultants. They've actually reached out to me and to consult for them probably around July of next year to go and tell them about what the industry is looking for, how the industry works. I don't know if they're going to get into the dealership side, the parts side, the vendor side. I don't know yet. I know I'll have to probably sign an NDA in order to do it. But let's be real about it, okay? The reality is that it's not going to stay down forever. It isn't, okay? That brings me to prediction number 5. Prediction number 5 is that the RV industry will streamline itself next year, where you're going to have the majority of people ordering their coaches. I think it's going to get to a point where dealers are going to carry a very few. It's going to be the start of the streamline process, where you're going to order, pardon me, you're going to order your coach. You go look at a show, you go look at a dealership lot, and then you order it and wait for it to come in. I think that's what the reality is. But part of prediction number 5 is that I also believe that guys like me, guys that knew how to run dealerships, guys who knew how to bring dealerships from the brink of death, we're not going to be needed anymore. It's all going to be corporatized. Okay? I'll put it to you like this, guys. I've been out there looking for a job in the industry. And the only real jobs there are service jobs. And they're not paying. Like, I'll give you an example. I can Uber 5 days a week and make as much money having my own schedule as I would being able to work a service tech job. So the good paying jobs are over in this industry. I think I've worked my last RV dealership job because I believe it's all going to get streamlined and corporatized. I think that you're going to have a bunch of 24, 25-year-old kids out of college who've never sold an RV before. They're going to start running the industry. The guys that are 40 years old like myself, we're going to be obsolete in about 10, 12 months. So, if you have a job in the industry and you're thinking about switching and you're my age, don't do it. There's no jobs out there. I've looked, trust me, I've been unemployed in the RV industry for 7 months. In fact, I went into another field. I went into building inspector. But I'm still gonna be in the industry. I'm still gonna do this YouTube channel. I'm still gonna do my podcast. I still have contacts. I still have everything I need to be able to keep going. And I'll still go film inventory at dealership lots. I've got a couple of dealers. Now that that executive's beef with me is over, I have a few dealers that are gonna let me start filming inventory again, even Brinkley stuff. So I think the industry figured out I wasn't gonna give up. I think the industry also figured out, especially these 1 or 2 executives, I think they found out that I'm not bad for the industry. I'm actually good for the industry. But anyway, I hope that works out for you guys or helps out. Check out if you go to my homepage of this channel, I have all my top 5, bottom 5 for travel trailers. I'm sorry, I'm so out of breath. Oh my God. Anyway, until next time, toolkit and sense of humor, folks.